In reselling, your output or how much money you earn is definitely dependent upon your input, how much energy you put into your reselling business, how much you're listing, how much you're sourcing, how much you're, doing all those different things. And so when life throws you a few different curveballs that get in the way of you being able to put in as much energy as you want into your reselling business, the result is often that the output is not, necessarily what you would want it to be. And that was definitely the case with this week of sales that we're going to talk about. There were just some things out of my control and I just had to roll with the punches. So if you want to see what sold for me despite those two things, let's get into it.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body tremors for your neck.
Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park and I am a part-time reseller on reselling platforms like Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, a few other platforms. And what that means is I go to places like garage sales, thrift stores, buy-sell trade stores, consignment stores, and I like to pick up items for as cheap as possible to sell online on those various reselling platforms that I mentioned, to make as much side income as I can. It's a really great side hustle. It's a really great to make money, on top of my teacher salary. And so in this video, we're going to be talking about a week's worth of sales. I'll be sharing with you everything that sold for me in this week, including where I picked up the item, how much it sold for, how much I paid for the item, all kinds of information that hopefully you'll find handy. And at the beginning of this video, I talked about how there were a few different curveballs thrown into this week. This was the week of September 13th through the 19th. One of those curveballs was a great thing. It was actually my birthday week, and, celebrating your birthday is always fun and great. But, it takes out some time that you may have spent reselling. So while that was a curveball, if you will, it was definitely a welcome one. Everyone deserves a period of rest from whatever kind of work that they're doing. But also, I have had this bump on my back, and my brother, who's a nurse practitioner, he saw it a couple times, when I showed it to him, and he was like, yeah, it's probably just a cyst. And around this time, around like the Sunday before this week started, like around the 12th, I started noticing just kind of like some pain around that bump, and it started to kind of intensify and even get kind of red and like almost firm around that area. And finally it got to the point where I was like, I cannot deal with this anymore. So on my birthday, which was September 14th, it was kind of rough, but by the 15th, I was like, I literally cannot handle this anymore. So I went in to see a dermatologist. They confirmed that it was infected. I won't go through the details of everything that they did to help me just feel a little bit of relief from, what I was going through. And I do have an appointment scheduled further out in the future to get the entire cyst removed. So it was extremely painful, and I just was not up to the task of like listing and photographing and basically like moving around. I basically just tried to like stay as still as possible and not do anything that would remind me of the fact that there was this, big infection in my back. So it was kind of a rough week. I just wasn't able to get as much done as I wanted. And that's the reality of life. And that's the reality of reselling, is that, for the most part, it's best when you are consistent behind the scenes. And I wasn't able to be consistent this week. So based off of that, backstory, let's go into talking about what did actually end up selling for me. And we'll start with Monday, which was September 13th. I had one sale, and it was not a phenomenal sale. It was this Hannah Anderson spaghetti and meatballs t-shirt in a size 10. It was something that I believe someone had given to me from church, and I didn't realize until I pulled the item to ship it out that it had a hole in the sleeve. And so what I did was I actually reached out to the buyer and I said, hey, I can send you a little bit of a refund on this if you want, and I'll just put it with the package. That way, we're kind of making up for the fact that there's a flaw on here that I had not disclosed. And she's like, yeah, let's just do that. So the shirt sold for $15 with discounted shipping. So I made a profit of $8.44. However, I did end up sending, I think, like $5 in the mail with the item. So really, I only made a profit of $3.44 on that item. But you guys know, if you've watched my channel, I do like to sell flawed items. I think it's okay, and people are okay with buying those things, especially because, one, they can get a little bit of a discount on the item. Two, some people are skilled seamstresses or, just skilled at fixing things up in their home, so they don't mind the flaw, especially if they can get a better deal on the item. But if you are going to sell items with flaws on them, you want to make sure that you disclose those flaws in your listing. In the description, you want to say exactly what the flaws are, and you want to take really good pictures pictures of the flaws. And I did neither of those two things for this item because I didn't even know that that flaw existed. And so, if that happens, my general rule of thumb is do whatever you can to do right by the buyer. So I reached out and I let them know about the flaw. I said, obviously we can cancel the transaction if you're more comfortable doing that, or I can send it with a discount, or I can even send an additional item on top, up to a certain dollar value. And they chose the option of me just sending them a little bit of a refund. So that's the route that I went down, $3.44 of profit. Great way to start the week. Moving on to my birthday, which was September 14th. I had one Poshmark sale, and it was this Michael Kors black spell-out polo shirt in a size small. This sold for $18. I believe that was an offer that came into me, and that had only been listed for a handful of days, so I was definitely fine with that offer. And I made a profit of $14.40 on that. I believe my brother gave that to me for free. I could be wrong, but we're just going to say that that's what that was. And then on eBay, I had a couple sales. The first one was this perfect pumpkin drawstring hat. This sold for $12, and my profit on this item was $10.66. I got that for free from someone at church. I'm not surprised that it sold when it did. It's perfect for Halloween, if anyone was going to dress up their baby like a pumpkin. So that was a really great seasonal sale there. And I have had that listed for quite some time, but it took, it being the month of September for that to sell. The next thing to sell was by the brand Biscotti Collezioni. It was this tiered ruffle sleeveless dress in a size 6. So lots of kids stuff so far that have sold. This sold for $17.90. That was something that sold because of offers to watchers. And whenever I send out offers to watchers, I always end it in 90 cents. That way I know that, that sale was a result of offers to watchers. Most people are not sending me offers with 90 cents at the end. That was promoted at 1%. I did have free shipping on that. And I had about 80 cents into it because it did come from a local consignment store when I did a big bulk sale shopping experience sometime last year. And so my profit on that item after my cost of goods and after eBay's fees was $10.19. The next thing to sell was over on Mercari. I had 2 sales over there. The first one was this We the Free gray cowl neck cuff sleeve top in a size extra small. That sold for $28, and it was only listed for, again, just a handful of days. I had $5.14 into that because I picked it up pretty recently at, I want to say Plato's Closet, I'm pretty sure. And so my profit on that item after cost of goods and my Mercari fees was $18.95. The next thing to sell is an item that I've had for quite some time. I picked it up at a pop-up consignment sale that happened not too long ago. And it was by the brand Adriana Papel. It was the striped faux wrap long sleeve blouse in a size small. I thought this was beautiful. I thought it was gorgeous. But to be honest, Adriana Papel, it's a hard brand to resell if it's not their more formal dresses, and even those you tend to sit on for quite some time. But generally speaking, I have found that anything outside of their wedding bridesmaid type dresses or just more fancy dresses, they sit around for a really long time and you just don't end up making that much money on them. So probably going to steer clear of this brand in the non-fancy dress category, unless I'm getting it for super cheap, because I know that I'm going to have to sit on it for quite some time. And I'm not a huge fan of sitting on items, especially if, the amount that you're going to sell it for eventually isn't that high. So this ended up selling for $12. I had about $3 into it, so I made a profit of $7.15. I was happy to just, finally move it out though. And then moving on to September 15th, which was a Wednesday. This is the day that I didn't go to work. I went to the doctor. I had to, get the situation on my back taken care of. It was a rough day, but I still made some sales. The first thing to sell on Poshmark was this J. Crew blue keeper chambray dress in a size extra small. This was actually something that my sister-in-law gave to me for free. It sold for $20 with discounted shipping, so I made a profit of $13.54, and that was only listed for less than a week. I know on my Instagram not too long ago, I asked everyone what their favorite bread and butter brands to sell were, and J. Crew came up so often. I do sell J. Crew as well, but I don't really pick it up very much anymore at the thrift store. I'll only pick up really special pieces. I do still sell a good amount of J. Crew because people give it to me for free, but generally speaking, it is a good bread and butter brand, but I do find that it sits for a while before it sells. And again, trying not to sit on things unless I know that there's some great value in those things. The next thing to sell was another brand that I don't need to pick it up anymore. It was the brand Sweet Pea by Stacy Fratty, and it was this black Swiss dot sleeveless blouse in a size small. This I picked up so long ago, and I probably had, a few dollars into it. We're saying $4. I think I'm overestimating, but when I don't remember how much I paid for something, I just generally say $4, knowing that that's probably too much. This is like a decent brand. I don't really know that much about it. I just remember finding it at a thrift store like 2 or 3 years ago and looking it up and being like, oh, comps are pretty good. I'll just pick it up. But it took, again, like 2-3 years for this item to sell. I did at one point send it into ThreadUp after I'd had it listed for about a year. ThreadUp had accepted it. They weren't able to sell it. They sent it back to me. I relisted it. It finally sold for $17.90. Again, that's an offer that I sent out to watchers. It was promoted at 1%. The buyer did pay for shipping. So after all was said and done, I ended up making a profit of $11.74 on that item. That's not enough of a profit to justify holding on to it for 2 to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's also another reason why I don't spend a lot of time looking through like the sleeveless top section of thrift stores or consignment stores, because generally speaking, they have a smaller resale value to begin with too. And so, when I go to thrift stores, when I go to buy sell trade stores, I generally make a beeline for the shoes first, and then I'll look at like outerwear, I'll look at jeans, I'll look at dresses, I'll look at sections where I know that I'm going to get more bang for my buck. So again, just kind of another strategic tip for you, if you will, when it comes to sourcing. The next thing to sell was this pair of Clarks Cloud Steppers black crisscross sandals in a size 9. Clarks are a great shoe bread and butter brand, and Cloud Steppers, which is kind of like their comfort line, is very sought after, can do really well. It just doesn't sell for very much. And so these got a ton of interest on all of my platforms, and I sent out tons of offers on, again, all of my platforms, and then they randomly just sold outright at my full asking price of $24.99 on eBay, with it being promoted at 1%. So at the end of the day, after my cost of goods, which for this particular consignment pop-up sale trip, my average cost of goods was $10.22. These shoes cost nowhere near that. I think I probably had about $4 to $5 into these shoes, but because that was my average cost of goods, my profit on this item was only $10.12. That day I do remember making some big ticket purchases. Like I bought a leather jacket, I remember, for like $25 or something like that. Like there were some things that definitely drove up that average cost of goods, but still made a $10 profit despite the fact that that average cost of goods was a little bit inflated. And then moving on to Thursday, which was September 16th, I had a couple Poshmark sales. The first one being by the brand The North Face, and it was this gray hooded full zip fleece in a size youth large. I actually want to say this was mine. Like I think I just had this for a good number of years, never reached for it. Like I have a bunch of other things that are similar to this that I would rather wear. So I went ahead and listed it. It sold for $20. I made a profit of $16 on that. Not bad. The next thing to sell was another Hannah Anderson piece. You guys know, if you've been watching my videos, I have had a lot of luck selling Hannah Anderson. This was a gray plaid bow dress in a size youth 6. Again, something that my daughter wore and then outgrew, so we just went ahead and listed it. It sold for $18 with discounted shipping, so I made a profit of $11.94 on that dress. And that was something that, a friend of mine at church gave to me for free for my daughter to wear. And then on eBay, I sold this Zara white floral crochet lace v-neck shift midi dress in a size small. This was something that I purchased at Plato's Closet, and when I picked it up at Plato's, I didn't realize that it was actually pretty heavily flawed. Like it had a couple rips on the sides in the lace and whatnot, but it still sold for $18.99. My average cost of goods that day was $5.14, and so I made a profit of $13.96 on that dress. Again, flawed items will sell. You just have to be really clear about what the flaws are. And obviously, I'm not out here like actively looking for flawed items, but if the brand is good enough, if the item is good enough and there is a flaw and it's pretty minor, I usually will go ahead and pick up that item. Or sometimes I won't know that something is flawed until I get it home, or like, ThreadUp rescue box type items. A lot of those have flaws that obviously it's not like I would have seen before I ordered the box. So instead of donating those items, I go ahead and sell them, and I still get good feedback. I still, sell through some of those items pretty quickly. I don't know. I am okay with selling flawed goods. The next day that we'll talk about is Friday the 17th of September. And I did have a good number of Poshmark sales this day. The first thing to sell was this pair of vintage Sorel green Kaufman lined duck boots in a size 8. I have had these for a while. I don't think that vintage Sorel is like a hot seller by any means, but it will eventually sell. These sold for $35 because of my closet clear out method. And if you don't really know how to incorporate closet clear out into your Poshmark business model, then I will link that video right here and you can steal from it whatever you want regarding how to utilize closet clear out. It is definitely a great tool for me on closet clear out days to make some sales. And so I had $2.37 into that item. And so I made a profit of $25.63. I picked it up at a local thrift store, again, kind of months ago, but I'm not surprised that it sold when it did because it's not the type of thing that people are necessarily looking for in the dead of summer. The next thing to sell was this H&M red gingham button-up slim fit shirt in a size extra small. This I just got for free from someone at church, I believe. So it sold for $10. H&M is not a big money maker. It's fast fashion, and I do not pick it up when I'm outsourcing, but if I get it for free, I'll list it. So sold for $10. I made a profit of $7.05. The next thing to sell was a bundle of 2 items, and I was ecstatic that this sold because I hate button-up shirts, and that's basically what this bundle was. The first one was new with tags, and it was the original Ben Sherman. It was a button-down shirt in a size large. That I got in a men's thread-up rescue box a few boxes ago, so I've had this for quite some time, probably close to a year at this point. I had about $3 into that one, and the next one was this Brooks Brothers original polo button-down shirt in a size large. That one had just been listed and had also come from a men's thread-up rescue box for $3 again. So, someone I think either liked both of those items and I put them in a bundle, or they had already put them in a bundle. I'm not sure. What I know is that I sent them an offer of $40 with discounted shipping. So once you factor in Poshmark's fees, the shipping discount, my cost of goods, I made a profit on those 2 button-up shirts of $23.54. Good riddance. I'm so happy to get them out of my closet. And if you want to learn more about how to utilize bundling within your Poshmark closet to make more sales, I do have a video about that here that you can check out to learn more about bundling. And then over on eBay, I actually had a bundle sale as well. I had someone reach out about a couple shirts asking if, if he were to buy both, if I could drop the price a little bit. And I agreed because what he was asking for was super reasonable. So the 2 items were these Hugo Boss polo shirts. The first one was in this light blue color and it had this accent trim, and that was in a size extra large. And the other one was in this ivory color with, again, a contrast trim and again in an extra large. They both came from the same local consignment store. It's right by my daughter's gymnastics, so I'll pop over there every once in a while her and my son are doing gymnastics. And on this particular trip, my average cost of goods was $8.17, which is a little higher than I typically like to spend, but despite that, I still made a pretty good profit on these 2 items. I had both listed for $35 each, and I believe that's because they were made of like Pima cotton and, Hugo Boss, it's a pretty decent brand. He asked if I would let him buy both pieces for $50, and I said that's totally fine. So he got both for $50, and I made a profit on each polo shirt of $14, so $28 total. So that was great. The next thing to sell was over on Mercari. The first item was this Forever 21 men shawl collar reindeer fair isle grandpa cardigan in a size extra small. My brother gave that to me for free. Again, typically I don't go out of my way to source fast fashion. I have picked up, brands like H&M and Forever 21 very infrequently, like when it's something very special, or H&M sometimes does those like collaboration pieces with really outstanding designers and whatnot. This sweater, I don't know if I could get it for really cheap, like maybe at the bins or something. I may have picked it up on my own, but again, my brother just gave it to me for free. It sold for $16 on Mercari, and so I made a profit of $13.64. The next thing to sell was this new in the box Olympus Note Quarter tapeless voice recorder. This was kind of cool, and I picked it up for $2 at a local garage sale that I went to with my friend and my sister-in-law. And I looked up comps while I was at the garage sale. It's really easy to do on new with tags items. I'm trying to see if I have anything around me where I could show you. But basically, you just use the eBay search bar, and if you click on the camera icon, you can scan a barcode really easily, and it'll pull up for you any other listings for that same barcode. And that's what I did when I saw this item at the garage sale. Rather than sitting there like typing in word for word what this item was into the search bar of eBay to look up comps, I just scanned the barcode and found that it was selling pretty consistently between, $30 to $40. And so I picked it up for $2. It sold on Mercari probably the second or third day that it was listed for $36. And so I made a profit of $29.06. You gotta love it. It's those kinds of sales that inspire me and motivate me to get more into hard goods, but also like, I don't know, it's hard. And storing hard goods is hard, but this was easy to store because it was so small. The next thing to sell was another hard good piece, but this is just something that came out of my own home. It was this 224 sleeve Fellows, that was the brand, CD, DVD, large travel case. It had, and it's one of those big binders where you keep CDs that everyone used to have in their car because they would have like hundreds of CDs. And yeah, so my husband and I found like 3 or 4 of these in our house and we cleaned them out and put like 3 up for sale. This one sold for $15 after being listed for about a week, and so I made a profit of $12.76. On the 18th, which was a Saturday, this was rough because I had 3 really great sales. One was this pair of Harley Davidson boots, one was this Geneva watch, and one was this Free People romper. I somehow, in shipping, mixed up the shipping labels between the 3 items. And typically, if you only swap labels on like 2 items when you're shipping, Poshmark will work with the buyers. And if the buyers agree, then Poshmark will send the buyers the appropriate label and the buyers can just kind of ship the items to one another. However, because this was like a 3-way switcheroo, Poshmark was like, we don't do that. And so everyone just had to open a case and send their items back to me. And so that's what happened. So although I had 3 really great sales, the Geneva watch, not so much. It wasn't like an amazing sale. But because of the switcheroo, I actually had cases opened up on all 3 of these items and they got sent back to me. However, the person who received the Geneva watch, instead of, I believe they were supposed to get the Free People romper, they never did it. They never sent the item back. And Poshmark only gives the buyers a certain number of days. And so I got, notification from Poshmark saying, hey, your watch was never shipped out. And so we went ahead and released your funds to you. However, what they released the funds to me for, I believe, is the Free People romper, which was a much bigger sale than the watch. I think the watch sold for like $18 and the romper sold for $35. And so Poshmark released, the $35. It wasn't 35, it's 35 minus, 20% fees, but that's what they released to me. And so I was like, okay, I mean, I guess that's somewhat of a silver lining because I do have the Free People romper back in my possession. I do have the Harley Davidson boots. And so obviously what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the people who got the boots and the Free People romper and see if they still want the item. And if so, I'll offer them like a discount. I'll tell them that I'll sell it to them at a cheaper rate because of the fact that I messed up on shipping. I'm going to assume that they're not going to want those pieces because too much time has passed. They're probably over that like little high that they got when they purchased the item to begin with, but you never know. So I'll reach out. I'll let you know how that goes. So no sales on Saturday because those were the 3 sales and I don't get to count any of them. I guess I could count the Free People romper, but I'm not going to. So moving on to Sunday, which was September 19th, I had a good number of Poshmark sales. Like Poshmark was on fire. And I think the reason for that is because of closet clear out. And then I had a couple eBay and Mercari sales as well. So the first thing to sell on Poshmark was this pink Victoria's Secret Chicago Bears pullover sweatshirt in a size small. That sold for $20 and I made a profit of $16. And it was something that I got for free from someone at church. So that's always amazing. And I believe that was a closet clear out sale. The next item to sell was definitely a closet clear out sale. And it was this pair of Under Armour blue pull-on athletic pants in a size small. That came to me in a men's threaded rescue box, so my cost of goods was around $3. I sold it for $20, and I made a profit of $13 on those pants. The next item to sell, I was shocked by because it was just a full price sale, and it was on this Lafayette 148 brown paisley 100% silk top in a size 14. That sold for $50. That was my asking price. I did have $6.67 into it because I got it at a local consignment store when they were running a sale. And so my profit on that top was $33.33. That is amazing. I was just astounded by that because Lafayette 148 is definitely a more mature brand. I did not expect it to sell on Poshmark, and I did not expect it to sell full price. The next thing to sell was this new with tags All Saints Tigress Edge tie-dye tunic in a size medium. That sold for $28 using Closet Clear Out. I purchased that at my local Goodwill. They had it in their boutique section. I did pay up for it. I think I paid like $12 for it. So my profit was only $10.40. Just because a brand is great does not mean that the item in your possession is a good pickup. So, this pretty simple tank, not worth $12. So, you live and you learn. The next thing to sell was this pair of Eloquii high-rise dark wash skinny jeans in a size 18. I got an offer on that for $25, which was $10 lower than I had, listed it for. But when I got the $25 offer, I went ahead and rechecked comps, and, that was like kind of on the lower end of comps, but I was like, it's only been listed a few days. I'd rather have the quick flip than sit on these for a while. So I did accept that offer. I had $5.96 into them. I had picked them up at a local Goodwill not too long ago, and so I made a profit of $14.04 on those. That was my first time finding that brand and trying to sell it, so that was pretty cool that it sold so quickly. The next thing to sell was the Skies Are Blue knit striped cotton sweater in a size small. I got a really low offer on this first for like $10, and I think I only had it listed at like 18 or 20 or something like that. And I had it listed so low because it was like this open knit sweater, but it had kind of a really big hole kind of in the shoulder. Like it looked almost like it had been on a hanger for too long, and the hanger had created this opening in the knit fabric. So that's why I had it listed so low. This person offered me 10, and I, utilized my closet clear out method to say, hey, 10 is unfortunately too low, but if you're willing to meet me in the middle at 15, then you can also get discounted shipping from Poshmark. And they were like, okay, I guess I'm willing to do it. I'm just nervous because I know that there's that flaw and I'm going to have to try to fix it. And I'm worried that if I can't fix it, I'll just be out like $20. And I was like, dealer's choice. Like, I don't know what you want to do. So she did end up purchasing it. And then she did leave me a love note saying that she was able to fix it. So I'm really happy that that worked out favorably for both of us. The next thing to sell was this pair of Miss Me jeans. They were this pair of embellished bootcut jeans in a size 27. I had picked those up a while ago at a local consignment store. I did kind of another like big bulk buy type situation, only had $1.81 into those. So they sold for $35 and I made a profit of $26.19. And believe it or not, I think that was actually another full price sale because those did have a few flaws, like maybe some missing rhinestones, and that's why I priced them a little bit lower at $35. Typically, I price Miss Me jeans around like $50, but they sold, so that was exciting. The next thing to sell was this Bowden Jemima gray wool long sleeve dress in a size 10. That's another thing that I picked up at a local consignment store. It sold for $5 using my closet clear out method, and so after fees and after my cost of goods, my profit on that dress was $19. And then the last thing to sell was this pair of 9 West Amrit leather heeled knee-high boots in a size 5. They were really cool. I picked them up a long time ago. Like, again, when I did that big bulk buy at that consignment store over a year ago at this point, like a year and a half ago. And I listed them pretty soon after I picked them up. So these have been listed for over a year, and they finally just sold for $30. That was using my closet clear out method. I had $1.80 into those, and so my profit on those boots was $22.20. But imagine like storing those boots for that long. I mean, it was, yeah, I'm just happy that they're gone. And then over on eBay, I sold this pair of Judy Blue skinny fit distressed jeans in a size 11 by 30. Those had come from the same, Goodwill trip as the Eloquii jeans. I got them at that same time. It was a pretty good denim day that day. And they sold for $40 on eBay. That was the offer sent to me. I think I had them listed at like 45 or 50, but someone sent me an offer of 40. I happily accepted. And so after my cost of goods, after the buyer paid for shipping, and they were promoted at 1%, I made a profit of $25.77. The next thing to sell was another pair of jeans. These were not quite as nice because I did not pick these up by choice. These were a pair of Guess Brittany skinny busted knee jeans in a size 26. They came to me in a DIY denim rescue box quite a while ago, and I just got around to listing them because there were so many jeans in that box that I was not excited about listing. But I listed these. They sold for $15, promoted at 1%. I had about $1.27 into them, and so I made a profit of $10.56. I mean, not bad, I guess, for something that I didn't pick up on my own and would not have picked up had it been my choice. Profit is profit. The last thing to sell was over on Mercari, and it was this pair of Adriano Goldschmied, the Talus Modern Slim gray pants in a size 33 by 34. This is something that my husband found at a Goodwill in Chicago when we went sourcing right before, we went to Seattle over the summer. They sold for $40, which was my full asking price at that point on Mercari, because if you've been watching my channel, you know that I use Mercari's smart pricing, which allows Mercari to drop the price little by little until it hits the floor price that you designate for that item. So this was at $40. A woman reached out to me and was like, hey, do you have any more pants in this size? Like, my husband just lost a ton of weight and we're trying to get him some pants that fit him. And so I did look around, but this was all I had. So she purchased them outright at that $40 price point. My husband had picked these up for a cost of goods of $9.99. And so after all was said and done, I made a profit on those pants of $24.55. I do find that Adriano Goldschmied does really well for men. It can do well for women as well, but I think that you can make more per pair of pants for men's stuff than you can for women. So just, a tip in case you find it and maybe you're like, I hate selling AG because it just doesn't sell well for me. If you come across the men's stuff, you never know. I would give it a shot. So those were my sales for the week. Let's talk about the numbers. And I actually only made sales on 3 different platforms this particular week, and they are my 3 main platforms, which are Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. So in Poshmark, I sold 19 items for a gross sales amount of $429. It was a lot of kind of lower priced items. Some of these things were really old items. Some of them were kids items. And so, I'm happy with the fact that I made as much as I did selling that kind of stuff. Once you factor in Poshmark's 20% fees and any shipping discounts that I may have offered, that total drops to $331.31. My cost of goods on those 9 items was $45.41. And so for the week on Poshmark, I made a net profit of $285.90. Over on eBay, I sold 9 items for a gross sales amount of $196.78. Once you factor in eBay's fees, any promoted fees, any shipping that I had to pay on my end, that total drops to $165.21. My cost of goods for those 9 items was $43.73. And so my net profit from eBay was $121.48. So over on Mercari, I only sold 5 items, but that was for a gross sales amount of $147. Once you factor in, Mercari's fees, that total drops to $121.10. I did have $20.13 into my cost of goods for those 5 items. So my net profit on those 5 items from Mercari was $100.97. So at the end of the day, I had a total of 33 sales for the week for a gross sales amount of $772.78. Once you factor in fees and shipping and all that kind of stuff, that total drops to $617.62. My cost of goods for those 33 items was $109.27. And so my actual net sales or net profit that made its way into my bank account for the week was $508.35. Again, that's not an amazing week for me. I'm always aiming for at least, $650 a week. I think that's what it comes down to because I'm trying to earn $30,000 for the year in profits. But obviously I fell short of meeting that goal for the week. But that's what happens when life throws you curveballs, when, things come up, you're not in control of those things. And all you can really do is your best given those circumstances. And that's what I did. I gave my best and I'm happy with the results. So those were my sales. I'd love to hear from you how your sales have been. And just, if there are any hardships that are prohibiting you from being able to meet your goals. It happens to everyone. And I think we have to celebrate the fact that despite those challenges, we keep going and we keep persevering. And that's what makes us stronger when we come out the other side. So if you're in a place of hardship right now, if you are in a place of just not being able to meet your sales goals because of different things going on in your life, take a breath, show yourself some grace. It is going to be okay. And you've got next week and the week after and the week after to get after it and to, maybe make up for some of those losses, or just be okay with the fact that it is what it is. So that is how the week of my birthday went in the year 2021. Hopefully next year's birthday week is a little stronger, but it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to subscribe to my channel because you enjoy these kinds of what sold videos, thrift hauls, tips and tricks type videos, definitely make sure that you hit that subscribe button on your way out as well. Thank you guys so much. I'm so appreciative that you took the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.